Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Positive English Podcast. My name is Nylor, and I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide on this journey to mastering English while keeping your spirits high. Now, for episode number 10, we've got something truly special lined up for you. We're going to be diving into Unlock Your English Fluency, the ultimate guide to learning through listening. Introduction, the untapped power of your ears in mastering English. Are you on a journey to conquer the English language? Perhaps you've diligently studied grammar rules, memorized countless vocabulary lists, and practiced your speaking whenever you've had the chance. But have you truly harnessed the incredible power of your ears? In a world saturated with visual learning methods, the often underestimated skill of listening holds the key to unlocking genuine English fluency. Think about how you learned your native language. It wasn't through textbooks and grammar drills alone, was it? It was through immersion in a sea of sounds, absorbing the rhythm, intonation, and nuances of spoken language from a very young age. Learning English through listening offers a natural and highly effective pathway to proficiency. It's not just about understanding individual words, it's about grasping the context, the emotions, and the cultural undertones embedded within spoken communication. It's about training your ear to recognize the subtle differences in pronunciation, the flow of natural conversation, and the idiomatic expressions that make English come alive. This comprehensive guide will delve deep into the transformative power of listening for English learners of all levels. We'll explore the myriad benefits of incorporating listening practice into your routine, discuss effective strategies to maximize your learning, and address common challenges that learners face. Whether you're a beginner just starting your English adventure or an advanced learner aiming for near-native fluency, the insights and practical tips shared here will empower you to leverage the power of your ears and accelerate your journey towards confident and natural English communication. And the best part? We'll also introduce you to the Positive English Podcast, a fantastic resource designed to make learning English through listening enjoyable, engaging, and highly effective. Hosted by the insightful Nylor. This podcast offers a wealth of captivating content tailored to help you improve your listening skills while exploring fascinating topics and expanding your vocabulary in a natural and contextualized way. So, plug in your headphones, get comfortable, and prepare to unlock a new dimension in your English learning journey, the powerful world of listening. Why listening is your secret weapon in English language acquisition. While reading and writing are undoubtedly important aspects of language learning, listening forms the bedrock of effective communication. Here's why it's your secret weapon in mastering English. Natural language acquisition. As mentioned earlier, listening mirrors how we acquire our first language. By immersing yourself in spoken English, you naturally absorb grammar patterns, sentence structures, and vocabulary in context, much like a child learning their mother tongue. This intuitive approach can often feel less forced and more organic than rote memorization. Improved pronunciation and intonation. Listening to native speakers exposes you to the correct pronunciation of words and the natural rhythm and intonation of English. This auditory input helps you refine your own speaking skills, making your pronunciation clearer and more natural sounding. You'll start to pick up on stress patterns, pauses, and the subtle variations in how words are spoken in different contexts. Enhanced vocabulary acquisition in context. Instead of learning isolated words from a list, listening allows you to encounter new vocabulary within meaningful conversations and narratives. This contextual learning helps you understand the nuances of word usage, collocations, and how words function within a sentence. You're not just memorizing definitions, you're understanding how words are actually used in real communication. Understanding natural speech patterns. native English speakers often use contractions, idioms, phrasal verbs, and colloquialisms that might not be explicitly taught in textbooks. Listening exposes you to these natural speech patterns, helping you understand everyday conversations and avoid sounding overly formal or unnatural. You'll become familiar with the flow of real-time communication. Development of comprehension skills. Regular listening practice trains your brain to process spoken English more efficiently. You'll become better at identifying key information, understanding the main ideas, and following the flow of a conversation, even when you don't understand every single word. This skill is crucial for real-world communication. Increased confidence in communication. As your listening comprehension improves, your confidence in your ability to understand and participate in English conversations will naturally increase. This positive feedback loop encourages you to engage more actively, further accelerating your learning. Exposure to diverse accents and speaking styles. The English language is spoken in numerous accents and at varying speeds. Listening to a variety of speakers, as you'll find on the Positive English podcast, helps you become accustomed to different pronunciations and speaking styles. Preparing you for real-world interactions with people from diverse backgrounds. Making learning enjoyable and engaging. Let's face it, grammar drills can sometimes feel tedious. Listening to interesting podcasts, engaging stories, or captivating interviews can make the learning process much more enjoyable and motivating. The Positive English podcast offers a wealth of such engaging content. Effective listening strategies to supercharge your English learning. Simply passively hearing English isn't enough. To truly leverage the power of listening, you need to employ active listening strategies. Here are some highly effective techniques. Listen actively, not passively. Active listening involves focusing your attention fully on the speaker, trying to understand the main points, and paying attention to nonverbal cues. Avoid multitasking while listening. Listen for the gist first. Don't get bogged down by trying to understand every single word. Initially, focus on grasping the overall meaning, the main topic, and the speaker's intention. Listen for specific information. Once you've understood the main idea, listen again for specific details, such as names, dates, facts, or opinions. Pay attention to intonation and tone. The way someone speaks can convey a lot of meaning. Pay attention to the speaker's tone of voice and their intonation, as this can provide clues about their emotions and the underlying message. Use context clues. When you encounter unfamiliar words, try to infer their meaning from the surrounding words and the overall context of the conversation. Don't immediately reach for a dictionary. Try to deduce the meaning first. Take notes. For more formal listening exercises or when trying to extract specific information, taking brief notes can help you stay focused and recall key points later. Transcribe short sections. For focused practice, try transcribing short segments of audio. This can significantly improve your listening comprehension and your understanding of natural speech patterns. Listen repeatedly. Don't be afraid to listen to the same audio or podcast episode multiple times. You'll likely catch new details and deepen your understanding with each listen. Vary your listening materials. Expose yourself to a wide range of English audio, including podcasts, news reports, interviews, stories, lectures, and everyday conversations. This will help you get accustomed to different accents, speaking speeds, and vocabulary. Set realistic goals. Start with shorter and simpler audio materials and gradually progress to longer and more complex content as your listening skills improve. Celebrate your progress along the way. Introducing the Positive English Podcast with Nylor, your auditory gateway to fluency. Now, let's talk about a fantastic resource that embodies the principles we've discussed, the Positive English Podcast, thoughtfully hosted by Nylor. This podcast is specifically designed to help English learners like you enhance their listening skills in an engaging and positive environment. What makes the Positive English Podcast stand out? Engaging and relevant topics. Nylor curates and presents a diverse range of interesting and relatable topics, ensuring that you're not just learning English but also expanding your knowledge of the world. Clear and accessible language. While exposing you to natural English, the podcast maintains a level of clarity that is beneficial for learners at various stages. Nylor's delivery is generally paced and articulated in a way that aids comprehension without being overly simplistic. Focus on practical vocabulary and expressions. The podcast naturally introduces useful vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs within the context of the discussions, making them easier to understand and remember. Positive and encouraging tone. True to its name, the Positive English Podcast fosters a supportive and encouraging learning atmosphere, making the process more enjoyable and less intimidating. Opportunities for repetition and review. You can listen to episodes multiple times, allowing you to reinforce your understanding and pick up on nuances you might have missed initially. Convenient and accessible. Podcasts are incredibly convenient. You can listen to the Positive English Podcast anytime, anywhere, during your commute, while exercising, or even while doing household chores. Turning passive time into valuable learning opportunities. How to make the most of the Positive English Podcast. Choose episodes that interest you. Start with topics that genuinely pique your curiosity. You'll be more engaged and motivated to listen actively. Listen multiple times. Don't expect to understand everything perfectly on the first listen. Subsequent listens will help you grasp more details and improve your comprehension. Take notes on new vocabulary. Keep a notebook or use a digital tool to jot down any new or interesting words and phrases you encounter. Try to understand their meaning from the context. Look up unfamiliar words. After listening and trying to infer meaning, you can look up the definitions of key words that are crucial to understanding the main points. Try to summarize each episode. After listening, try to summarize the main points of the episode in your own words. This will help you check your comprehension. Reflect on what you learned. Think about any new information or perspectives you gained from the episode, as well as any new vocabulary or expressions you encountered. Consider transcribing short segments. As a more advanced exercise, try transcribing short parts of the podcast that you find particularly challenging or interesting. Connect with other listeners. If there's a community associated with the podcast, consider engaging with other learners to discuss episodes and share insights. Trending topics in English learning and how listening can help. Staying up to date with current trends can make your English learning more relevant and engaging. Here are some popular topics in English learning and how focusing on listening can enhance your understanding of them. Artificial intelligence and technology. Podcasts, news reports, and interviews often discuss the latest advancements in AI, machine learning, and other technologies. Listening to these resources will expose you to specialized vocabulary and help you understand complex concepts explained in English. Sustainability and climate change. Environmental issues are increasingly prominent in global discussions. Listening to podcasts and documentaries about sustainability will expand your vocabulary related to this crucial topic and improve your ability to follow nuanced discussions. Mental health and well-being. Conversations around mental health are becoming more open. Listening to podcasts and interviews where people share their experiences and experts offer advice can help you understand the vocabulary and cultural sensitivities associated with this important area. Global culture and diversity, exploring different cultures through podcasts, interviews with people from various backgrounds, and storytelling can broaden your understanding of the world and expose you to diverse accents and perspectives in English. Remote work and the future of work. With the rise of remote work, discussions about online collaboration, digital tools, and the changing nature of employment are common. Listening to related content will equip you with the vocabulary and comprehension skills needed to navigate these conversations in English. Social issues and current events. Staying informed about global and local social issues through English news podcasts and discussions will enhance your understanding of complex topics and improve your ability to discuss them in English. The Positive English podcast often touches upon many of these trending topics, providing you with relevant and up-to-date listening practice. Overcoming common challenges in learning English through listening. While listening is a powerful tool, learners often encounter certain challenges. Here's how to address them. Fast speaking speed. Native speakers often talk quickly, which can be overwhelming for learners. Start with audio materials that have a slower pace or allow you to adjust the playback speed. Gradually increase the speed as your comprehension improves. The Positive English podcast generally maintains a learner-friendly pace. Unfamiliar vocabulary. It's natural to encounter words you don't know. Don't let this discourage you. Focus on understanding the main idea, use context clues, and selectively look up key vocabulary after listening. Different accents. Exposure to various accents is crucial but can also be challenging initially. Actively seek out audio from speakers with different accents to train your ear. The Positive English podcast might occasionally feature diverse speakers or discuss different regional variations in English. Contractions and colloquialisms. Native speakers frequently use contractions and informal language. Pay close attention to these patterns in your listening materials and try to understand their meaning in context. Lack of visual cues. Unlike face-to-face conversations, audio-only listening lacks visual cues like facial expressions and body language, which can aid understanding. Focus intently on the auditory cues, tone of voice, intonation, and emphasis, to compensate. Information overload. Sometimes, a lot of information is presented quickly. Practice taking notes and summarizing to help you process and retain key details. Maintaining focus. It can be easy to get distracted while listening. Find a quiet environment where you can concentrate, and actively engage with the audio by trying to predict what the speaker will say next or by asking yourself questions about the content. The positive feedback loop. Listening fuels speaking and overall fluency. It's important to remember that listening is not an isolated skill, it's intricately linked to other aspects of language learning, particularly speaking. The more you listen and understand spoken English, the better equipped you'll be to speak more fluently and accurately. Improved pronunciation. By hearing correct pronunciation repeatedly, you'll naturally start to emulate those sounds. Expanded vocabulary for speaking. The new words and phrases you learn through listening become part of your active vocabulary, ready to be used in your own speech. Understanding natural speech rhythms. Listening helps you internalize the natural flow and rhythm of English conversation, making your own speaking sound more natural. Increased confidence in speaking. When you understand what others are saying, you'll feel more confident and motivated to participate in conversations. The Positive English podcast serves as an excellent bridge between passive listening and active speaking. By engaging with the content and understanding how native speakers express themselves, you'll gain valuable insights that you can apply to your own spoken English. Conclusion: embrace the power of listening and tune into the Positive English podcast. Learning English is a multifaceted journey, and listening is an indispensable skill that will significantly accelerate your progress. By actively engaging with spoken English, you'll unlock a deeper understanding of the language, improve your pronunciation, expand your vocabulary in context, and gain the confidence to communicate more effectively. Speak Up Fearlessly, your guide to building confidence in English speaking. Introduction: the empowering journey to confident English speaking. For many English language learners, the prospect of speaking can evoke a mix of excitement and apprehension. You might possess a strong grasp of grammar and a wide-ranging vocabulary, yet the moment comes to open your mouth and articulate your thoughts in English, a wave of self-doubt can wash over you. The journey to confident English speaking is not always linear. It's often marked by moments of triumph and periods of frustration. However, the ability to express yourself clearly and confidently in English is an incredibly empowering skill, opening doors to new opportunities, deeper connections, and a broader understanding of the world. This comprehensive guide is dedicated to helping you overcome the barriers that hinder your speaking confidence and embark on a transformative journey towards becoming a fearless English speaker. We'll delve into the psychological factors that contribute to speaking anxiety, explore practical strategies to build your confidence step by step, and provide actionable techniques to improve your fluency and clarity. We understand that speaking a new language can feel vulnerable. You might worry about making mistakes, having a strong accent, or not being understood. These feelings are completely normal. However, they don't have to define your speaking experience. With the right mindset, consistent practice, and effective strategies, you can break free from these anxieties and embrace the joy of communicating in English. And to support you on this empowering journey, we're excited to highlight the Positive English podcast with the encouraging Nylor. This podcast not only enhances your listening skills but also provides valuable insights and motivation to help you develop the confidence to speak more fluently and naturally. Through engaging discussions and a supportive tone, the podcast aims to create a positive learning environment where you feel encouraged to take risks and practice speaking without fear. So, take a deep breath, embrace the challenge, and let's explore the path to becoming a confident and articulate English speaker. Understanding the roots of speaking anxiety in English learners. Before we delve into solutions, it's crucial to understand the common reasons why many English learners experience speaking anxiety. Fear of making mistakes: this is perhaps the most prevalent fear. Learners often worry about grammatical errors, incorrect word choices, or mispronunciation, leading to feelings of embarrassment or inadequacy. Fear of judgment: the fear of being judged by native speakers or even fellow learners can be a significant deterrent. Learners might worry about sounding foolish or not being taken seriously. Lack of confidence in vocabulary and grammar. Feeling unsure about your vocabulary or grammatical accuracy can make you hesitant to speak, fearing that you won't be able to express yourself effectively. Pressure to be perfect: striving for perfection can be paralyzing. The belief that you need to speak flawlessly before you're ready can prevent you from practicing and improving. Performance anxiety: speaking in front of others, even in a small group, can trigger anxiety similar to stage fright. Negative past experiences: previous negative experiences, such as being corrected harshly or feeling misunderstood, can create lasting anxiety around speaking. Cultural differences in communication styles. Learners from cultures with different communication norms might feel uncomfortable with the directness or assertiveness sometimes expected in English-speaking environments. Focus on fluency over accuracy. An imbalance in focus can also contribute to anxiety. Worrying too much about perfect grammar can hinder fluency, while focusing solely on fluency might lead to a lack of confidence in accuracy. Building a foundation of confidence, mindset and preparation. Overcoming speaking anxiety starts with cultivating the right mindset and preparing effectively. Embrace imperfection. Understand that making mistakes is an inherent part of the language learning process. Native speakers make errors too. View mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. Focus on communication, not perfection. The primary goal of speaking is to convey your message effectively. While accuracy is important, prioritize getting your ideas across. Celebrate small victories. Acknowledge and appreciate every step you take forward, no matter how small. Did you successfully order food in English? Did you understand a question and respond appropriately? Celebrate these wins. Reframe negative thoughts. Challenge negative self-talk. Instead of thinking I'm going to make mistakes, try I'm going to practice and improve. Prepare for common situations. Think about everyday scenarios where you might need to speak English. Prepare some basic phrases and vocabulary related to these situations. Set realistic goals. Don't aim for perfect fluency overnight. Set small, achievable speaking goals, such as participating in a short conversation or asking one question in English each day. Create a supportive learning environment. Surround yourself with resources and people who encourage your progress. The Positive English Podcast provides a positive and supportive auditory environment. Visualize success. Imagine yourself speaking confidently and fluently. Visualization can help reduce anxiety and build positive expectations. Practical strategies to enhance your speaking confidence and fluency. Building confidence requires consistent practice and the application of effective speaking techniques. Talk to yourself in English. This might sound strange, but it's a fantastic way to practice without the pressure of external judgment. Describe your day, your thoughts, or your surroundings in English. Record yourself speaking. Recording yourself can help you identify areas for improvement in your pronunciation, fluency, and grammar. Don't be discouraged by how you sound. Focus on tracking your progress over time. Practice with language exchange partners. Connect with native English speakers or other learners for language exchange. This provides a safe and supportive environment to practice speaking. Join English conversation groups. Participating in conversation groups, either online or in person, offers opportunities to speak in a relaxed and social setting. Immerse yourself in English. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch English movies and TV shows, and read English books and articles. Passive immersion can boost your familiarity with the language. Focus on one aspect at a time. Don't try to improve everything at once. Focus on one specific area, such as pronunciation of a particular sound or using a new grammatical structure in your speech. Use visual aids. When practicing speaking, use visual prompts like pictures or flashcards to help you generate ideas and vocabulary. Role-play common scenarios. Practice common dialogues and situations with a language partner or even by yourself. This will help you feel more prepared for real-life conversations. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. If you don't understand something, politely ask the speaker to repeat or rephrase. This is a normal part of communication. Focus on your strengths. Remind yourself of the progress you've already made and the English skills you already possess. Leveraging the Positive English Podcast to boost speaking confidence. The Positive English podcast with Nylor can be a valuable tool in your journey to becoming a confident English speaker in several ways. Exposure to natural speech. Listening to Nylor's clear yet natural speaking style helps you become accustomed to the rhythm, intonation, and flow of spoken English. Vocabulary acquisition in context. The podcast introduces new vocabulary and expressions within engaging contexts, making them easier to understand and incorporate into your own speech. Building listening comprehension. As your listening comprehension improves through the podcast, you'll feel more confident in your ability to understand and respond in conversations. Positive and encouraging atmosphere. The podcast's positive tone can help reduce anxiety and create a more relaxed and encouraging learning environment, making you feel more comfortable about practicing speaking. Topic familiarity. By listening to discussions on various topics, you'll build a foundation of vocabulary and ideas that you can draw upon in your own conversations. Motivation and inspiration. Nylor's encouraging approach can motivate you to continue practicing and pushing your speaking boundaries. Practical ways to use the Positive English podcast for speaking practice. Shadowing. Listen to short segments of the podcast and try to repeat exactly what Nylor says, mimicking the pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm as closely as possible. Summarizing aloud. After listening to an episode, try to summarize the main points out loud in your own English. Expressing your opinions. Listen to Nylor's viewpoints on a topic and then practice expressing your own opinions or reactions in English. Expanding on topics. Choose a topic discussed in the podcast and try to elaborate on it, adding your own ideas and experiences in English. Vocabulary recall. After an episode, try to recall some of the new vocabulary or expressions you heard and practice using them in your own sentences. Discussing with others. If you know other listeners of the Positive English podcast, discuss episodes together in English. Addressing common speaking challenges and how to overcome them. Even with practice, you might encounter specific challenges in your speaking. Here's how to tackle them. Pauses and hesitations. It's normal to pause while you think of the right words. Don't be afraid of silence. You can use filler words like or well to give yourself time. Strong accent. While clear pronunciation is important, having an accent is not a barrier to communication. Focus on being understood rather than eliminating your accent entirely. Forgetting words. This happens to everyone, even native speakers. Have some strategies for circumlocution, describing the word you can't remember using other words. Understanding different accents. When speaking with someone with a different accent, don't hesitate to politely ask them to repeat or clarify if needed. Feeling nervous. Take deep breaths before speaking, focus on your message, and remember that the other person likely wants to understand you. Lack of opportunities to speak. Actively seek out opportunities to speak English, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Online language exchange platforms and conversation groups can be invaluable. The positive feedback loop. Speaking fuels confidence. Just as listening enhances speaking, the act of speaking itself builds confidence. Every time you successfully express yourself in English, you reinforce your belief in your ability to communicate. This positive feedback loop encourages you to speak more often, leading to further improvement and increased confidence. Don't wait until you feel ready to start speaking. The best way to build confidence is to start speaking now, even if it feels challenging at first. Every conversation, every attempt to express yourself, is a step forward. Conclusion: unleash your voice and embrace confident English speaking with the Positive English Podcast. The journey to confident English speaking is a gradual process that requires patience, persistence, and a positive mindset. By understanding the roots of speaking anxiety, preparing effectively, and employing practical speaking strategies, you can break down the barriers that hold you back. The Positive English Podcast with Nylor is a valuable ally in this journey. By providing engaging listening content and fostering a supportive learning environment, it helps you build the foundational skills and the positive mindset needed to speak English with greater confidence. Remember that your voice matters. Your thoughts and ideas are valuable, and the ability to express them in English is a powerful asset. Embrace the opportunity to speak, learn from your experiences, and celebrate your progress along the way. With consistent effort and the support of resources like the Positive English Podcast, you can unleash your voice and become a confident and articulate English speaker. Call to action. Start speaking English today, even if it's just for a few minutes. Listen to the Positive English Podcast for inspiration and practical learning. Share your speaking goals and challenges with us and connect with other learners. Unlock the Logic, your empowering guide to mastering English grammar. Introduction: Demystifying English Grammar for Confident Communication. For many English language learners, the mere mention of grammar can conjure up images of complex rules, endless exceptions, and frustrating exercises. It's often perceived as a hurdle to overcome rather than a foundation upon which to build confident communication. However, understanding English grammar is not about memorizing abstract rules in isolation. It's about unlocking the underlying logic of the language, the system that allows us to structure our thoughts clearly and effectively. When you grasp the fundamental principles of English grammar, you gain the power to express yourself with precision, avoid misunderstandings, and ultimately, communicate with greater confidence. This comprehensive guide aims to demystify English grammar, presenting it not as a rigid set of constraints but as a flexible toolkit for expressing a wide range of ideas. We'll explore key grammatical concepts in a clear and accessible way, provide practical strategies for understanding and applying these rules, and emphasize how a solid grasp of grammar enhances all aspects of your English proficiency: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We understand that grammar can sometimes feel overwhelming. You might wonder about verb tenses, sentence structures, or the nuances of prepositions. These are common challenges for learners. However, with the right approach and consistent effort, you can develop a strong and intuitive understanding of English grammar that empowers your communication. And to guide you on this journey of grammatical empowerment, we're delighted to highlight the Positive English Podcast with the insightful Nylor. This podcast not only enriches your listening skills and expands your vocabulary but also subtly reinforces grammatical concepts through natural language usage. By listening to clear and well-structured English, you'll develop an ear for correct grammar and gain a more intuitive understanding of how sentences are formed. So, let's embark on a journey to unlock the logic of English grammar, transforming it from a source of frustration into a powerful tool for confident and effective communication. Why understanding English grammar is essential for effective communication. While it's possible to communicate at a basic level with limited grammatical knowledge, a solid understanding of English grammar is crucial for true fluency and effective communication. Clarity and precision. Correct grammar ensures that your message is clear and unambiguous. Using the right verb tense, for example, can drastically alter the meaning of a sentence. Avoiding misunderstandings. Grammatical errors can sometimes lead to confusion or misinterpretation of your intended meaning. Accurate grammar minimizes the risk of such misunderstandings. Professionalism and credibility. In formal settings, such as academic writing or business communication, correct grammar enhances your professionalism and credibility. Improved writing skills. A strong foundation in grammar is essential for writing clear, coherent, and grammatically correct sentences and paragraphs. Enhanced speaking skills. While fluency is important in speaking, a good understanding of grammar allows you to construct sentences accurately and express your thoughts more effectively. Deeper comprehension. Understanding grammatical structures helps you to better comprehend complex sentences and written texts. Building confidence. When you know that your grammar is generally correct, you'll feel more confident in your ability to express yourself both in writing and speaking. Understanding native speakers. Native speakers often use complex grammatical structures naturally. Familiarity with these structures will improve your ability to understand them. Key areas of English grammar for learners to focus on. While English grammar can seem vast, focusing on key areas will provide a solid foundation. Verb tenses. Understanding the different verb tenses: present simple, present continuous, past simple, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, future simple, future continuous, future perfect. 1. Future perfect continuous, and their usage is crucial for conveying when actions happen. Subject-verb agreement. Ensuring that the verb agrees in number with its subject is a fundamental grammatical rule. Nouns and articles. Understanding different types of nouns and the correct use of articles. Pronouns. Using pronouns correctly to avoid repetition and ensure clarity. Adjectives and adverbs. Understanding how adjectives modify nouns and adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs to add detail to your sentences. Prepositions. Mastering the use of prepositions to indicate relationships between words in a sentence. Conjunctions. Using conjunctions to connect words, phrases, and clauses. Sentence structure. Understanding the basic sentence structures and how to form grammatically correct sentences. Clauses and phrases. Recognizing different types of clauses and phrases to build more complex sentences. Modal verbs. Understanding the function and usage of modal verbs to express possibility, obligation, permission, etc. Effective strategies for understanding and applying English grammar. Learning grammar doesn't have to be a dry and tedious process. Here are some effective strategies to make it more engaging and practical. Learn grammar in context. Instead of just memorizing rules, study grammar as it appears in real-world examples, in sentences you read, in conversations you hear, and in texts you analyze. Focus on meaning.
สวัสดีค่ะ มาเรียน
Understand
กับ
why
ครู
a
เจนะ
particular
ค่ะ
grammatical rule exists and how it affects the meaning of a sentence. This will make the rule more memorable and easier to apply. Use authentic materials. Engage with authentic English materials like news articles, blog posts, stories, and podcasts. This exposes you to grammar in natural usage. Break down complex structures. When you encounter a complicated sentence, break it down into its individual parts to understand its grammatical structure. Practice regularly. Consistent practice is key to internalizing grammatical rules. Do grammar exercises, write sentences, and try to apply new grammatical concepts in your speaking. Identify your common errors. Pay attention to the mistakes you make most frequently and focus on understanding and correcting those specific areas. Use grammar resources effectively. Utilize grammar textbooks, websites, and apps as supplementary tools, but always try to connect the rules you learn with real-world examples. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're unsure about a grammatical point, don't hesitate to ask your teacher, language partner, or consult reliable online resources. Focus on progressive learning. Start with the fundamental grammatical concepts and gradually move on to more complex structures as your understanding grows. Make it relevant to your goals. Focus on the grammatical aspects that are most relevant to your specific English learning goals. How the Positive English podcast can subtly enhance your grammar skills. While the Positive English podcast isn't explicitly a grammar lesson, it plays a significant role in improving your grammatical understanding in a natural and intuitive way. Exposure to correct sentence structures. By listening to Nylor speak in clear and grammatically correct English, you develop an ear for proper sentence formation. Reinforcement of verb tenses. You'll hear different verb tenses used correctly in context, helping you to internalize their usage and meaning. Natural use of articles and prepositions. Pay attention to how Nylor uses articles and prepositions in different contexts. Understanding subject-verb agreement. You'll naturally hear subjects and verbs agreeing in number, reinforcing this fundamental rule. Contextual understanding of conjunctions. Listen to how Nylor uses conjunctions to connect ideas and form more complex sentences. Developing an intuitive sense of grammar. Over time, consistent listening to grammatically sound English helps you develop an intuitive feel for what sounds right and what sounds wrong. Expanding vocabulary related to grammar. While not the primary focus, the podcast might occasionally use terms related to language and grammar in its discussions. Practical ways to use the Positive English podcast to improve your grammar. Listen for specific grammatical features. Consciously pay attention to how Nylor uses a particular verb tense or grammatical structure that you are currently studying. Analyze sentence structures. Try to break down some of the sentences you hear in the podcast into their component parts. Notice word order. Pay attention to the typical word order in English sentences as you listen. Reflect on grammatical choices. After listening to a segment, think about why Nylor might have chosen a particular grammatical structure to convey a specific meaning. Use podcast transcripts. If transcripts are available, read along while you listen, paying close attention to the grammatical structures used in the written form. Mimic sentence structures. Try to create your own sentences using similar grammatical structures to those you hear in the podcast. Common grammar challenges for English learners and how to tackle them. Learners often face specific challenges with English grammar. Here's how to address some of them. Verb tenses. Create timelines and practice using different verb tenses to describe actions happening at different times. Focus on understanding the nuances of each tense. Articles. Study the rules for definite and indefinite articles and practice using them in different contexts. Pay attention to whether a noun is specific or general. Prepositions. Prepositions often depend on context and can be tricky. Learn common prepositional phrases and practice using them in sentences related to different topics. Sentence structure. Practice forming different types of sentences. Understand how to combine clauses using conjunctions and relative pronouns. Word order. English has a relatively fixed word order. Pay close attention to the structure and practice forming sentences accordingly. Subject-verb agreement. Regularly check that the verb in your sentences agrees with the subject in number. The interplay of grammar with other language skills. It's important to remember that grammar is not an isolated skill. It's interconnected with all other aspects of language learning. Listening. Understanding grammatical structures helps you follow spoken English more effectively. Speaking. A good grasp of grammar allows you to form accurate sentences and express yourself clearly. Reading. Knowledge of grammar enhances your ability to comprehend complex written texts. Writing. Strong grammar skills are essential for producing clear, coherent, and grammatically correct written work. By focusing on improving your grammar, you'll see positive effects across all your English language skills. The Positive English Podcast, by providing clear and well-structured spoken English, contributes to this holistic improvement. Conclusion: empowering your communication through grammatical understanding with the Positive English Podcast. Mastering English grammar is not about adhering to a rigid set of rules, it's about unlocking the logical framework that underpins clear and effective communication. By understanding the fundamental principles of English grammar and practicing their application in context, you can empower yourself to express your thoughts with precision and confidence. The Positive English Podcast with Nylor serves as a valuable resource in this journey. By providing you with consistent exposure to grammatically sound and natural English, it helps you develop an intuitive understanding of how the language works. Embrace the challenge of learning English grammar not as a burden, but as an opportunity to enhance your ability to connect with others and express yourself effectively. With consistent effort, the right strategies, and the supportive auditory environment of the Positive English Podcast, you can unlock the logic of English grammar and transform it into a powerful tool for confident communication. Call to action. Identify one or two key areas of English grammar that you want to focus on improving. Listen actively to the Positive English Podcast, paying attention to how grammatical structures are used. Practice applying these structures in your own speaking and writing. Share your grammar learning goals with us. The Positive English Podcast with Nylor offers a fantastic and accessible way to incorporate effective listening practice into your learning routine. With its engaging content, clear delivery, and positive learning environment, it's a valuable resource for English learners of all levels. So, take the time to truly listen. Tune into the nuances of spoken English, immerse yourself in the sounds of the language, and let your ears guide you towards fluency. Make the Positive English Podcast a regular part of your learning journey, and experience the transformative power of listening firsthand. Your ears are ready, are you? Call to action. Subscribe to the Positive English Podcast today and start your journey towards greater English fluency through the power of listening. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. Share your favorite episodes and your listening experiences with us.